Hello and welcome to the kitchen table this Wednesday. Alison Southern here from Melksham Team Ministry. I hope you're having a good day. The sun is shining and when you gaze up at the skies you think, what a wonderful world we live in. And yet the world isn't always that perfect as the sky is blue. This week we have seen football take over the world. There was so much expectation in our nation for the events of Sunday evening. The hopes of everyone cheering on England as they were in their first final for 55 years. For the Scots amongst us, of course, we're quite used to disappointment, so there was no change there. But we were cheering on a team that was doing its best, out there working as a team, and making us really proud. Of course, not everything is straightforward, and immediately afterwards there was a backlash which made me deeply, deeply saddened. First of all, just by the sheer rage and violence of so many young men as they were fighting outside the stadium or in different places across the country, in pubs around our land. I know that's only a small proportion of the people who have followed that football team all the way through this competition. But I was even more saddened when the racist abuse started online. Real hate. We have endured much over the COVID period, and Black Lives Matter was a surge of people really noticing what was going on in our country, in our world, and saying no to racism. So when we saw the horrible hate that was being perpetrated across the internet, I was deeply saddened. But then there was this surge of support and hope and love. And the words that had been smeared across the face of one of our footballers across a wall, Marcus Rashford's name, taken in racist hate, was all of a sudden covered with messages of love and support and care. And I thought, maybe there is hope. Maybe as a country we have learnt to see any kind of ism and to call it out, whether it's racism, sexism, whether it's against sexual orientation, whatever it is. Whenever hate rears its head, you and I have a responsibility to call it out, to say not in my name, which is just what so many have been doing over this latest incidents. Football is something that lots of people engage with, but of course there are so many different areas in life that are just going on unnoticed. I was also deeply saddened this week that the bishops made a decision not to fund placing in each diocese an officer that would have responsibility for race and making sure that there was no racism in our organisation, the Church of England. There had been a desire for this to happen, but the funding has been cut from it. There are some things in life that are so important that can't be put on a back burner. So whether we are sitting in the pews, whether we are clergy or whether we are up in the higher echelons of bishops, I think it's really important to try and grasp the importance of what has been happening in our country. To recognise when people have been in pain and to do something about it, to make a positive change. We as people can change the way we think, the way we act, the way we do things. But it also needs that bigger picture. It needs our institutions across this country to take on the responsibility of making sure our laws, our ways of working are fair and just and equal for all. In the Bible, there was no division for Jesus. He saw men and women, rich and poor, Jew and Gentile, as equal, as the people he came to love, to serve and to save. That's a message we get from our Christian story through the Gospels. And whether you believe in God or not, that has been such a strong part of the story of our lawmaking, the story of our decision how we act as a community together. For centuries, that has been the basis of our law. We need to hold on to those thoughts, those feelings, those desires to make our world a better place. So whether you love football or hate football, you can be part of that conversation about how we use terrible incidents like this to change, to move us that next step forward, to recognise where hate gets an upper hand, but love can overcome it. That desire to call out foul behaviour and to replace it with words that build, with words that recognise hope, that recognise all that we are as a diverse community. We are nothing when we take away anyone of difference. Our society would crumble. When you start taking out of the factor people because of the colour of their skin, or their religious belief, or their ethnicity, we end up in a place where being a redhead, or being fat, or being anything else can be vilified and a point of hate. That's when our nation falls on its knees. So we build up our nation with love, with acts of generosity and support for whatever minority group that you see being targeted by whatever act, whether it's the teenagers in your town, maybe being clumped together as troublemakers. Recognise that there are so few people out of so many teenagers in our town, many of them wonderful people with many gifts and lots to give, all of them with something special in their hearts. Even if they are committing vandalism or difficulties, step forward with love, not with hate and vilification. So whatever it is that is causing you to feel anger, whatever it is that maybe calls you to make a slight against a whole people without any basis or evidence, take a second thought. Think about what it is to find a good word, to love, and to give an opportunity to everyone you meet to see the best in them, because it's there. All you have to do is open your eyes, look, and encourage. I hope you have a good week. Take care, and I'll see you at the kitchen table on Sunday. Bye for now.